to Green Soul Yoga Flow. Today's practice has kind of a lot going on, so I'm going to ask you to make a pact with me right here at the beginning, just to really listen to your own body. Don't push too hard, don't try too hard. Just let it be your practice today. Take it where you need it to go, okay? And we're going to have lots of room to spread out around us, so make sure there's nothing that you're potentially going to kick or knock over throughout the practice. And just a heads up, you might want some water nearby. Take a water break anytime you want, and let this be both a work in and a bit of a work out. All right, thank you for joining me. Let's go ahead and come on down to our mats to get started. We'll lie down on our backs and work with our breath just a little bit this morning or today, wherever you're at. All right, guys. So go ahead and lie on down. And you might choose bent knees, or you might choose to straighten the legs, up to you completely. Make sure your head is resting comfortably on the mat and your spine feels long. Beginning to breathe in and out through your nose. See if you can find a bit of Ujjayi breath. If you're not sure about that, it's that feeling like you're going to fog up a mirror, and it happens in the back of your throat. So you might bring your hand just in front of your mouth and do a little. And when you feel that little epiglottis kind of cutting off a little bit at the back of the throat, when you do, we're going to mimic that feeling, closing the mouth down and just breathing in and out through the nose with that same half close at the back of the throat. And notice how you hear the sound of your breath. Maybe it sounds a little bit like an ocean wave. And this Ujjayi breath is going to be our guide through our practice today. So when the breath gets short, feel free to take a break. If the breath gets heavy, enter child's pose. Good. Now begin to lengthen your breath. Just count your inhale breath. Let's shoot for about a 6 to 8 inhale count here. When you get to the top of that inhale, hold your breath for about 3 seconds. And then begin to exhale again for about 6 to 8 counts. Try to match what you did on the inhale. Hold in the space at the bottom about 3 seconds. Let's continue to breathe this way for several rounds. Inhaling, counting the inhale breath. Holding at the top. Exhaling, counting the exhale. Holding at the bottom. Good, continue. Start to make the spaces longer. So instead of 3 seconds, go 5 or 6 seconds. Maybe match the inhale, match the space. Match the exhale, match the space, all with equanimity in the breath. How do you feel in the space? What arises for you in the breathless space? As we move in our practice, there'll be moments of transition, even if they're brief, where there's a space between poses, between asanas. Bring awareness into the space. Viktor Frankl says, between stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So what we're doing in yoga, whether it be through the poses or meditation, we're widening the space between stimulus and response so that our experience of being human in the world off of our mat is one less akin to being like a plastic bag just kind of blown about by the wind, but more similar to a tree with strong roots that weathers the changing seasons. Take your breath back to normal, just in and out through the nose, nice and natural, nice and easy. Excellent. And then we're going to hug those knees right into the chest. Take a little rock around on our spine. Come back to our center. Reach the arms up overhead. Reach the feet up into the air. Stretch out. Maybe point and flex your feet a couple times. Make sure you get all of the little tight spaces out. Maybe even squeeze the toes in. You want to open up the ankles. Get the snap, crackle, pops out. Yeah, point and flex. Good. Now, begin to hug the knees in. Bring the arms back around. Give yourself a big squeeze and then move it back. Arms up and legs up. Exhale, everything in, big squeeze, inhale, sweeping out. Good, start to feel the core engage. Just a little bit here with this little bit of motion. When you bring the legs up, make sure you stack well. Knees over the hips, ankles over the knees. A couple more. Beautiful work. Let's take one last one here. Good. We'll end with our knees squeezed in, nice and tight. Excellent. And just begin to stretch the left leg down the mat, squeezing right knee in. Get a nice big stretch out through the left heel. Switch it out. Bring the left knee in, right leg down the mat. Beautiful. Switch it out again. Left leg out, right knee in. This time, right knee drops to the right. Open up the hip. And begin to circle through that right hip joint. Start to lubricate the hip. Leave your left hip nice and steady to the earth. Don't let it be rolling around here. Good. Let's roll the other direction through the right hip so we get both directions. And then bring that right foot into the inner left thigh and drop open into a figure four sort of shape here. Try to steady those hips and just breathe as you bring the heel closer to the groin. Good. Just open up some space in the body, space in the breath before we start to really get into our flow. Good. We'll bring that right knee back up towards sky. Switch it out. Straighten the right leg. Bring the left knee in. Good, we're going to release the left knee out to the left. See how we're steadying the right hip? So you might even put your hand on your right hip just to kind of steady it down. And then begin to just move in a circular motion on the left side. The knee circles around with the hip motion. Fantastic. And then going the other way. And then drawing that foot into the inner right thigh, creating a figure four shape, kind of hugging heel towards groin, and just breathe into some open hips here. Excellent. And then draw the right foot in to match the left so the soles of the feet come together. Drop the knees open. Supta Baddha Konasana. Release hip tension. Look for additional space where change can occur. Excellent. Just a couple more breaths here. Really look for the space behind the space. There's always a little bit more that we can give to let go. Good. Now we're going to draw those knees back together. Bringing our knees in towards our chest, we're going to begin to rock and roll on our spine. So you just want to rock up the spine and down, and just feel a little momentum begin to build. And as we build that momentum, we're going to get ready to stand straight up. So start to feel those feet, how they plant down to the earth. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll right up, plant the feet, and stand. Nice job. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and come to the top of the mat, standing. So I've got two mats today so that I can face you and face sideways, just for direction's sake, but you only need one mat. You're at the top of your mat right now. Good, let's take a sweeping inhale breath, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale the hands to your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale the hands to the heart. Good, one more time. Inhale, create the space with the breath. Exhale, swan dive. Lengthen your spine and come into forward fold. We're gonna breathe here in this fold for just a moment. You can bend one knee and then straighten the other and just kind of walk your legs here. If your hands don't touch the floor like mine do, go ahead and just bring them onto your shins, or maybe you have some blocks at home you could use to bring your hands onto. And then begin to just feel like you're melting the crown of the head towards the floor. So you're looking back now at your legs. Now tuck your navel in, lift your sit bones, don't lock your knees, but press deeply into those feet as you lift your hips and sit bones. And again, you're kind of thinking as though the nose would touch back onto the knees. Now, of course, it's probably not going to, and that's perfectly fine, but that's kind of the motion that we're looking for here. Excellent, just find your breath. Good. Now root those feet, take a big sweeping inhale, reach up and over. Stand tall. Exhale again, swan dive forward fold. This time root your hands to the floor, so you might need to bend your knees. And then we're stepping back into this inverted V sort of shape, or down dog. So my hands are at the top of the mat, the fingertips are spread wide with the middle finger facing pretty much forward. The hips come high, the heels drop low. Rounding the shoulder blades nice and open, the inner elbows almost come to face each other. Nice. Let's go ahead and move here the same way we did in that forward fold, bending one knee, straightening the opposite leg, and then looking back towards the movement of the ankles and the legs, just kind of watching us walk our dog. The neck is just relaxed, the head is heavy. Yeah, take a couple more presses here. Excellent. And then stop, slow the movement, hold the pose, Adho Mukha Svanasana, breathe into down dog. Walk forward, top of the mat, forward fold, Uttanasana, root your feet down. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Root the hands, step back, find that down dog position again. Now we'll know if we've got a nice position between our feet and hands, if we can easily bring our weight forward into a plank pose. When we come forward into plank, let's keep our bums down, our bellies in. We're diagonally located between the heels and the crown of the head. Pull through the navel, lift up, downward facing dog. Exhale, back to plank. Grip the mat with your fingers. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, plank pose. Couple more. Feel those shoulders firing up. Feel the core, and also feel the length you're creating, that space in the spine, that space in the legs. Good, last one. Hold the plank, drop to the knees. Good, give me a modified chaturanga. Arms come straight back, sweep the arms right by your ribs. Lower all the way to your mat. Tuck the elbows down and back. Inhale the head and shoulders off the mat, and then gently pull back the top of the throat that lifts the gaze slightly forward. Good, curl 10 toes under. Inhale and press away from your mat, coming back into that down dog. Breathe. Good. Let's take one more breath here in downward facing dog. And then we're going to step that right foot forward into a lunge. We want to square our hips, place the right knee and right ankle in alignment. Lengthen out through the spine as you draw that right hip back. And then inhale, sweep the arms up into crescent lunge. Drop your shoulders down and breathe. Sweep the arms back, hinge forward, hold. Sweep the arms up, inhale. Nice job, exhale, hands to the mat, step back into downward facing dog. And step your left foot forward. Hinge, or rather square the hips, and then inhale, sweep the arms up, crescent lunge. So if my right hip kind of wants to come back. I want to pull that forward as though I have little headlights on my hip bones, and they both need to face the same direction. Let's find an exhale, hinge from the hips, lengthen the arms back. Inhale, sweep them back up. And exhale, hands to the mat. Now stepping forward, forward fold. Breathe. Good. Inhale, slow roll your way up to standing. And you're going to turn to face the long edge of your mat if you can here. So you can step to the side with wide legs to start, and then face the edge of your mat. So I'm going to come this direction to see you, but you are kind of facing the long edge of the mat. Good. So we're just going to begin to get into our hips a little bit here. I want you to kind of set the glutes down and back as you bend your left knee and just kind of slide to the left. Good. Come back to center. Slide to the right. You're going to keep that right knee back and the hips sitting down and back. So from the side, it's going to look like sliding to the left, kind of sitting those hips down and back, and sliding to the right. Now see if you can deepen that just a little bit and move with your breath. Good. Let's all come back together on the left side. So when you get to the left, kind of hold here, square the hips and hinge. So we're dropping the hands down. We've got a long back, the head's looking to the floor, and you can really have a little push back now into that left hip. Watch the knee. You still want to track it open and not too far past the ankle. All right, let's switch. Come to the right side. You can leave the hands down and just walk them over a little bit. Nice deep squat here, side lunge. Good, breathe. See if you can open space in those hips. We're gonna need it. Good, do it one more time on the left, maybe a little deeper. And on the right. All right, so we're coming back to the center. Nice deep forward fold, toes are forward. And then hands to the hips, kind of as though you're squeezing those legs apart, stretching your mat. Come all the way up to standing. Good. And you might want to give yourself a little bit of adjustment here as you come into five-pointed star. So you want your toes slightly turned out. Arms are up in the air. So you see how this is like five-pointed a star here. And what we're going to do, we'll move slow the first time. We're going to hinge to the left. As we do, we're coming back into that fold, but our arms sweep back. And then inhale, center, five-pointed star. Bend that knee, set your hips down and back. Reach back, long spine. Keep your core engaged. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Good. Keep moving. Find your breath. You move with the breath. So your pace might be slightly different than mine, and that would be okay. Good. And you can start to swing those arms higher, getting more rotation in the shoulders, if that feels good to you. We're going to take a couple more each side. Nice work. Let's do one more each side, and then we can meet back in that five-pointed star. Good. Arms up. Nice. Now we're going to turn the left toes out to the top of the mat or to the short edge of the mat. Begin to bend that left knee and then bend the left arm. Place the left forearm onto the thigh and reach away from the right foot with your right arm. So just kind of finding this beautiful diagonal stretch. See if you can find a little bit extra pull in space here. Good, just come back to your deepest self, your deepest version of you here that you can find and access today. Connect inward in the pauses. Good, inhale back, turn the left toes forward, right toes out, bend the right knee, stretch. Good, when we start to peel open these spaces, we can really begin to turn that gaze inward towards all that's being kind of flushed out and peeled away, and we get a little bit more contact with our truest nature. Good, come back to the center, five-pointed stars, so those toes come back around. Exhale, one time forward fold. Good. Inhale. Come all the way back up to standing. We're going to make an adjustment with these feet. So we want the toes out and the ankles in. Okay, toes out, ankles in, heels in. If your heels can touch, that's okay. But if they don't, that's okay too. They might here in just a moment. We're going to take a little plie squat. So on the inhale breath, lift up on your toes. See if you can draw the heels together. And then squat down, knees out, arms to the side. Good, and lift and lower. Good. Press those heels together. They're off the floor. I'm not sure if you can tell that in the video, but we're on our toes. The heels are off the floor. Good. Let's take a couple more. Now we're going to make it a little bigger. We're going to go all the way down, arms all the way up. Good. And then come back. Good. Keep going. All the way down, all the way up. Good. Maybe the heels are touching. That can bring some support. They might come apart at the bottom. That's okay. Make sure you're breathing. Don't hold the breath. Good. Now this time, when we come back up, we're coming halfway and the arms stay at the side. And pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Inhale, sweep the arms, drop the hips. Hold. Halfway lift, arms out. And 5, 4, 3, knees are opening. Good. Stand up, take that pause, that space. Inhale, sweep those hips down, last round through. Halfway lift, arms out from the shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand it up. Whew. Turn those toes back, forward, and step to the top of your mat. So if you're still facing the side, come back to the front of the mat and take a nice big breath. And then forward fold. Good, that fold should feel really nice here. And just begin to walk those knees out again. Bend one knee and then the other. Beautiful. Catch your breath. Drop your head, look back. Great work. So we're going to step our way back into a plank pose now. So that top of a push-up, we've been there before in this practice already. And then we're going to turn to the side. So drop your heels over to the left. Yeah, and then we'll take our right leg, right arm in the air. All right, nice job. So you can hold here. This is beautiful. We're going to try to pick up that top leg a little bit and just bend the knee and the elbow and bring them together or close to being together for 5 times. We're almost there already. Let's do one more. Excellent. Come back to plank and take a little break. You're going to pause on your knees, but keep your core engaged. Good. Reach the crown of the head forward. Breathe. Now we're going to try to reverse that a little bit. So we're going to take it back into that same side, same plank on the side. But this time we're going to plant the top foot, bend the low knee, and bring it in and stretch it out behind the top leg. And stretch. And bring it in and stretch. 2 more times. You've got it. And 1. Good. Bring it back around. Take that pause. Woo. Nice work. We're going to go to doing everything on the other side 5 times with the little pause in between. So we come back into plank. Now if you'd like, the bottom knee can come down to the floor and you're in your side plank. So now your heels are dropping to the right and your left arm's in the air. Good, we're going to bend the top knee and the elbow. 5, stretch it out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that break. Come back to your knees and breathe. Catch that Ujjayi breath. Good. Take it back around to the other side. So heels drop to the right. Reach up. Left arm's in the air. Good. Now we're going to plant that top foot. Do the bottom leg. And reach it back. Good. 1 more. That one's a little more difficult. Let's bring it back around. Take a break and you're going to take child's pose here. Round your wrists as you set your hips down and back towards the heels. And breathe. Fantastic work. Take a few more breaths. This is some strong core work, and the breath can tend to get a little shallow. We're using some big muscles. You also might take a drink of water. And we're not done. We've got some more of this plank work. This time we are going to leave the knee on the floor. So inhale to tabletop. And to get there, we're going to send our left toes to the left a little bit more. And then stretch the right leg back. And now we roll over into an assisted side plank. Okay? So the left hand's rooted, the right hand's in the air. Yeah. Good. Now, simply bringing the right hand behind the head with bent elbow, and then bringing that right foot off the floor. Trying maybe to engage it straight out from the hip, but if it's not quite there, that's okay. Now, just begin to slide that leg forward and back. Now, try not to use momentum. Try to use the strength of the core and the leg, and see how far you can sweep it back and sweep it forward. And it's also a nice little stretch when we go back there on the psoas and the hip flexor. Good. A couple more times. Nice. Good. Now, we're going to bend that top knee and send the heel close to the glute. Reach the arm back, find the foot, and then put the foot into the hand and kind of stretch it back. So push that foot into the hand and really open the hip and the shoulder. Nice work. Bring it all the way back to that plank. So both feet are going to come in line with the knees. The knees are in line with the hips here. And then staying with the right leg, begin to stretch the right leg back behind you, left arm forward. And then we begin to bring the knee and the elbow together. For 5, stretch it out. Round the spine, 4, knee to elbow, 3, let the head follow, 2, and 1. Hold it out. Extend, extend, extend. Nice job. Bring it back. Left hand stays on the floor, right arm reaches up. Good. Sweep the right arm under the left. A short shoulder stretch here before we go to the other side. Good. Come back to your tabletop. Good. I'm going to turn around so I can stay facing you. You're going to stay right where you're at. Nice job. And extending out through, I have to think about which leg we extended last time. The left leg is going to extend this time. Good. And then rolling open. Excellent. And breathe. Put the hand behind the head. And lift the leg. Nice. Now we begin to glide that leg forward and back. Forward and back. Yes, so just find your range of motion. Not concerned about how far we go. We're just enjoying it, and we're again just trying not to swing it, but rather use a little bit of steadiness in it. Let's bring it all the way back. Bend the knee. Wrap that hand around to the foot. Good, and then press the foot into the hand. Nice job. Moving it back towards the tabletop position. Stretch the left leg back, right arm forward. And nose comes in, knee comes in, elbow comes in, and then you stretch it out. We've got about one more here, and then we're going to hold it out nice and long. And then release. You might even sway your hips as you come to tabletop. Good. Other side, shoulder stretch. Reach the arm up and thread the needle under. And breathe. Just a nice shoulder stretch here to work things out. And then coming on back to tabletop position, nice work. Go ahead and meet me in a downward facing dog. So lift the hips high and set those heels down. So let down dog, this down dog, just be like a release. You might even sigh out through the mouth. Nice work. Stepping forward, take a forward fold. Deep in this fold here. Find some more depth in the fold. Breathe. So your head is facing back towards the knees. Nice job. Couple more breaths here. Maybe a sighing out through the mouth would be really nice before we move on. Beautiful. Let's take a nice big sweeping inhale. Reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise halfway. And exhale, hands down, plank pose. We're going through our vinyasa. Now you can take a full chaturanga. We're really warmed up. Send the weight forward, hover at 90 degrees, lift up, legs are off the mat for upward facing dog, come back to downward facing dog. Good, step forward, we're gonna do that 3 more times. Step forward, forward fold. Good, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Plank pose. Inhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra, if that suits you better. Downward facing dog, breathe. One more time, step or hop your way forward, forward fold. Sweep the arms up, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, plank. Inhale, breath. Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra, you can switch it up. Downward facing dog and breathe. Very good. Go ahead and drop onto the knees. Take a quick child's pose. And we're going to come back into a little bit more plank work. This time from the form. So on your next inhale, come back onto the knees. And we're going to drop down onto the left forearm and start to walk those feet back into a plank and then just open up, right arm into the air. So now I'm using my forearm and I'm just going to do some little pulses here with the hips coming up and down, up and down. Good. Let's go 3, 2, 1. Switch it to the other side. The right forearm comes down, the heels drop the other direction, the left arm comes up and start pulsing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you drop the left arm down, use the hand instead of the arm. Come back to plank. So you're going to pull that right hand to the floor as well. Switch it over. Heels drop to the left. Right arm comes up. Good. Now this one's going to bring the right arm under the left hip and then up. Good. 5, 4. Find a little rotation through the torso. 3, feel those obliques firing. 2, and 1. Come back through center, go right to the other side. Right hand roots, left arm into the air, heels to the right, and 6, 5. Keep those hips lifted. 4, find a nice rotation, deep as you can. Watch the breath. Last one. Come back around to center plank and then downward facing dog. Nice job, breathe. Step forward, forward fold. Good, root those feet down. Lift the sit bones, grab behind the ankles or thighs or calves and fold deep. These folds are kind of like our rest, not too many child's pose in this flow, but we use fold, maybe down dog is rest. Nice work. Let's take a nice slow rise this time. Let your arms dangle here and just begin to stack and stack. Nice job. At the top of your mat in standing mountain pose, find your breath and close your eyes. And just feel the pulsating of the blood and of the energy and find some space here. So look for some space in the body. Where do you feel more spacious than when you began? Good work. And we're going to take an inhale breath, open the eyes, sweep the arms up overhead, and come into Utkatasana chair pose. So we're sitting our hips down and back, and then kind of lifting the heart, tucking the tail, and pulling the belly in, keeping our knees back, and the weight is in the ankles. You can pick up your toes. There you go. Good. Exhale the hands to the heart. Dive a little deeper in those hips and move the right elbow to the left thigh. Keep your knees in perfect alignment. So if your right knee moved forward, pull it back by pulling the hip back. Come back through center. Keep everything nice and low and go to the other side, keeping those knees evenly together. That's the tricky part. Good. Breathe. Come back through center. Lift the heart and raise the arms as you straighten the legs. Come back to standing mountain pose. Ooh, nice job. Take a breath here. Excellent. Now, take a step out nice and wide. And we come back into that five-pointed star, just stretching big. Creating space. Move those fingers out to the edges. Move those feet out to the edges. Now, we're going to do a little hop into center. And when we do, we're going to squeeze everything into like we would be in chair, except squeeze our hands to our knees. It'll look like this. Hop in, drop those hips, knees, hands to knees. Then a little hop back out. Good. Now try to make your hops nice and quiet and move with your breath. And we're going to do 4 more of these. Get that space, that stretch right here. Stretch it out. Pull it in. Stretch it out. Pull it in and hold. Good. Hands to the heart. The only thing that lifts is the chest. Excellent. Stand up and release. Beautiful. So the heart rate gets up. We bring it down. It gets up. We bring it back. All right. So we're going to hold standing mountain pose while we catch that breath. Then we're going to move into some balance work. Now, if you need a wall or a chair or something to help you with balance, that's perfectly fine. And just move to that now. Good. We're going to start with our left foot grounded. We're going to inhale the right knee up into the air and inhale the arms up. Now we're going to find a little flow here. So we float the right leg back, hinge from the hips. Warrior 3. We come all the way back up. Knee into the air, 90 degrees. Float it back. Good. Keep your hips squared. So one hip's not lifting higher than the other. Now start to add a leg press to the front as well. So we lift up, we press it out, we pull it in, we kick it back. Good. Take touchdowns where you need them. Good. And breathe. What's the key to yoga? Breath. It's your life force. Keep it moving through your body. Don't let it go. Last one, kick it out. And stand in standing mountain pose. Collect yourself, no matter how that balance went. Shake it off. Come back. Ready to start on the right leg. Grounding the right foot down. Hugging muscles to the bone. We find a lift of the left leg and a lift of the arms. Good. Let's go ahead and start to move. This first few times, we just find the motion from Warrior 3 to 90 degrees. Good. Noticing our balance will be different one side to the other oftentimes. So you might wiggle more on the other. Start that kick out. Kick. Pull back. Warrior 3. 90. Kick it out. Pull it in. Press it back. Couple more. Move with your breath. Good. Have a little fun. If you fall over, laugh. Make yourself laugh at yourself. It's good to do. We have to learn how to laugh at ourselves. This life, we can't take it too seriously. Last one, and hold. Shake it out, shake it out. Nice job. All right, coming back to the top of the mat. Ready for an inhale breath. Sweep the arms up overhead and exhale. Fold. Now stretch those legs out. We just worked some of those heavy muscles. Stretch the glutes up. Good. Hips up. Sit bones up. Head down. Shoulders down. Good. All right. Nice work. So we're gonna, from here, press the left foot into the mat, send the right foot back like we're coming into a lunge, but then drop the right heel to the left and parallel it to the back edge of your mat with a front heel back arch alignment. Coming as we would to warrior two, inhaling the right arm up and the left arm forward. Now you're at home, and if you're alone, or if you like to scare your kids or dogs, this is gonna be a really fun one, because we're gonna add some hefty noise to this. It's a good release. We like to use some of these in yoga. So we're gonna reach that right arm forward, and then like we're drawing a bow and arrow, we're gonna pull it back with a reach it around. Good, be as long as you want. Two more. Last one. Nice job. Slight arrangement of the toes and the arms. Bring your back toes about in 45 degrees, and then arms up, square your hips now to the front of the mat for a bit more of a warrior one type position. Sweep your arms back and flatten your back. So we're gonna hold here, reaching crown of head forward, hips squaring to the front of the mat, arms back. All right, so we're not laying on the thigh, the core is engaged. Even if the belly winds up there, we're still working on holding it away. Good, inhale, sweep the arms up. Do it one more time, exhale. Arms back, shoulders back. Now, one more adjustment. Keep the arms where they're at if you can while you adjust your toes to come all the way around to crescent lunge. Both hips forward, both toes forward. And then drop down onto the knees as you lift onto the right knee, as you lift your arms. Low lunge. Fantastic. Exhale the hands to the mat and kick both hips back equally as you lift your left toes for a half split. Crown of head reaches forward. Breathe here. Really stretch along that left leg. Keep the spine long, belly engaged, toes up. Put the left foot back to the mat. Curl your right toes under. Are you ready? Inhale, lift the arms, lift the knee. Crescent lunge. Now we're going to open that all the way back up. So slide back to warrior two. That right foot is paralleling the short edge of the mat. Now swing those arms down, lift up, turn both toes to the long edge, and switch it out. So now my left foot is paralleling the short edge of the mat. My right toes facing short edge, hips are square. Warrior two, are we ready for those strong archer moves? Good, bring that left arm forward, pull it back. That elbow comes straight back. Big exhale. Like you're in karate. One more time. Excellent. Now I'm going to tell you, if you didn't join in the noise, I was a little worried the first few times. It is such a good release. Come back and do it again, all right? Turn your toes about 45 degrees. Square those hips up. Good. Inhale the arms up, and then exhale, arms back, and find that reach. Now, pulling that right hip back, and breathe. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and we're coming back just for a breath. Good, see if you can hold the arms back, but turn the toes, so now they both face forward, and then drop gently the left knee, lift the arms into the air. Beautiful, breathe, exhale the hands down, and let's set those hips back equally, pull the right toes up, lengthen the spine, as though you were going to just kiss your big toe. Blocks can be nice here. Find that breath. Doing awesome. Place the right foot back to the mat. Pick the arms up. Pick the left knee up. Crescent lunge. Back to warrior two. Open the hips. Now just move the right toes to the side of the mat as well. So we're in that nice open wide stance. Bring the arms back to five-pointed star. Are you guys ready for one more round of those chair squats and the jumps? So we're going to hop in, set it down. Inhale it out. Exhale, bring it in. Stretch it out. Bring it in. Stretch it out. Last one. Nice job. Hands down and turn to the top of your mat. You're facing the front again. Nice job. Just find a standing mountain pose to catch a breath. Good. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the mat. Step back, down dog. Notice this space in this down dog compared to the space in your first down dog. What kind of freedom do you have now in the body? What kind of growth do you think has happened in the muscles, in the mind? Nice work. Now we're going to drop on down to those knees and come to tabletop once again. All right, tabletop position, guys. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. This one's not easy, so do what you can. So some people call this fire hydrant. We're going to root the left knee, bring the right knee out to the side. So it's not back, it's to the side. And then let's switch and just get used to this motion of just lifting one leg. Good. All right. How about lift and straighten? Pull it back, drop it down. Lift, straight, pull it back, drop it down. Let's go. Lift, lengthen, pull it back. Ooh, let's do a couple more. You don't have to look at the screen. You can keep your head in line with the spine. You don't have to crane that neck. I suggest looking towards the floor, back towards those knees. As you move, let's go a couple more. Last one. Nice job. We're going to stop here in tabletop and circle the hips about 4 times one direction. And take it about 4 times the opposite direction. Excellent. Coming back to flat back. Now we finally get a nice round of cat-cow. Inhale, sweep the belly low. Pull your heart through, slowing down now. Exhale, round the spine. Start to really find your breath. Close your eyes. Dive deep. What has all of this movement and heat revealed? What space has it shown you and created? Excellent. Coming back to your flat back. Walk your knees forward. Cross your ankles. Sit down. Feel your sit bones come down to the mat. And as you do, work your feet forward. And then pick them up into Navasana, bow pose. Good. Now if that's too much, toes down. No worries. All right? Good. Hold here and breathe. And then hug it all in. Squeeze those knees to the chest. Wrap the arms. Sit up as tall as you can. Good. Good. We're going to walk those feet just a little bit further out, but keep the knees bent for a nice twist here. So just a little in the space between the thighs and the belly. Bring the right arm back and the left hand onto the outer right thigh. Keep those knees equally squeezed together and rotate through the belly and the chest and the neck until your gaze is back over your right shoulder. Keep your shoulder in its socket. Try not to open up too much here. Just unwind to your center and switch it out. Left arm will come back, right arm will come across, the knees will stay together. Twisting to the left. Good. Come back to center. Leave the left foot on the floor. Reach the arms out. Extend the right leg. Hold. Keep your chest forward, shoulders back. And switch. Left leg up, right foot down. So a little bit like the boat pose, but a little bit more modified. We've got one foot on the ground. Good. Now we're going to switch and grab that foot. And then hug that leg into our body. And then switch, pull the left leg, and hug it into the body. So nice long spine. Nice job, lower it down. Good. All right, guys, we're gonna come all the way back down to our mat. So go ahead and just lie back on down. And the first thing we'll do is hug the knees to the chest And take another little rock around. Just massage your spine, your low back, your kidneys. Now, place the knees in line with the hips, and the legs are like a little table here. Flex the feet. Place the hands behind the head. Without pulling on the head, begin to extend your left leg, and as you do, draw your right shoulder over to the left. Pull it back, knee over hip, extend the right leg, and lift. Now, keep moving, and the lower you bring your leg, the more difficult this will be, as well as the higher you lift your shoulders. Don't worry about pulling here. We want to set the head into the hands, almost like a little resistance. Let's do one more each side. Little yogi bicycles, huh? Yes, and then come back to center. Release the hands, feel the back of the head on the floor, and just round the head from side to side. We're still got those legs in tabletop. Keeping the core engaged, the knees over the hips, the feet lifted. Bring the hands to the sides of the body, but don't set them on the floor. And now draw your head and shoulders off of the mat so your rib cage kind of pulls towards those thighs. And then begin to pulse just the hands. And breathe. Like you're pushing down some resistance here. Something's trying to bubble up and you're encouraging it down, 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 down. 3, 2, and 1. Now keep those head and shoulders lifted. Lift the legs and pulse the fingers towards the ankles, towards the toes. 3, 2, and 1. Give yourself a hug. Nice job, everybody. Drop the feet down. Keep the heels close to the glutes. Bring your backs and your tops of the arms, so your triceps onto the floor. And then you want your hands facing up, fingers towards the sky, hands towards each other. So think about little robot arms. And from here, pressing the backs of those arms into the floor, pressing the heels in, come into bridge pose. Lift up as high as you can so that your entire spine is really off the mat up to the shoulders. And then the head is rested and the neck is long. And then we just begin to pulse here. Little bitty pulses. Keep going, we're halfway there. 10 more, activate those glutes. Beautiful, and release. Step the feet forward about a footprint, let the arms go. Bring the right leg over the left, so we're crossing our legs. And then open the arms out to a T. And just gently drop and fall those legs over to the left. Keep your shoulders on the floor, turn your gaze to the right. Inhale, knees to center. Keep that cross and go the other direction. I like this one. A little bit of weight on the outside of that left leg. Turn your gaze to the left. Come back to center. Gaze is at center. Keep the legs where they're at. And then draw the knees in together. Reach down, find the feet. Good. And then just hug those knees as deep as you can into your chest and the feet to the outer edges of the hips. Excellent. Gently release. Line the spine in a nice straight line again if we've lost any of it. Let's bring the left thigh over top of the right leg. Spread the arms for support. Dropping the knees over to the right, taking the gaze to the left, both shoulders on the floor. Switch. Use the core to pull the knees back through and all the way to the other side. Now the heaviness of the left leg on the right gives us a little more stretch. Knees back to center. Hugging both knees into the chest, reaching down, right hand to the left foot, left hand to the right foot, shoelace pose. Squeeze in and down. And release the feet, unwind the legs. Nice job. And just take a moment here to sigh out the mouth and get any wiggles out. And then we're going to come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. What our goal here is to really let go and be still. Find that beautiful space within. So we're going to open up the body a little bit and take some space up on the mat. You might just try to kind of think about peeling and spreading open. So, you know, the heels are going to draw away from each other and away from the hips. And then the arms are going to draw down away from the shoulders, and then the head away from the shoulders. And so I'm getting really spacious. And then when I feel kind of like that little tug of war, as if somebody came to every limb, or that 5-pointed star to every point, and kind of drew me longer, kind of gave me a little tug, then I'm going to rest down into my mat. Good. Closing the eyes gently down without squinting and relaxing your jaw. Come to stillness. Try not even to move a little finger if you don't have to. And the best way to stay still is to relax. So just kind of feel as though you're melting down into your mat, and then beyond the mat into the floor, and beyond the floor into the earth. Breathe easy and turn your gaze inwards. So you can imagine if you could just roll your eyes around in the head and turn back towards the inner space. And as we both feel heavy and relaxed, we also feel light and spacious. Notice the duality of that, the light, airy feeling at the top of the body, the relaxed, heavy feeling at the back of the body. Follow your breath in and out here. Each inhale, follow it into the spaces of the body. Where could you send it? Where could it flow? Could you reach the breath out to your fingers and toes? And then empty out this air. Be an empty vessel full of space. These last few breaths here in Shavasana, just accessing a place that we don't always get to in our busy world, our deep inner space. That spot within us where our light resides is unchanging no matter what's happening in the world. That space where we get to know ourselves more. And know our truest nature. Accessing secret quiet place. And you can stay in your Shavasana as long as you would like. Or you can begin to move your fingers and toes ever so slightly. And when you do begin to move, let's just make a vow to nurture this connection to our deepest self. To remember that we can return to it whenever we want or need. We can be beckoned back to the deepest spaces of our truest selves. Through breath and through movement, through quiet meditation. Let's go ahead and move on to the right or left side as you feel ready. And then gently move to seated. As you come to seated, sit tall, bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. With our eyes closed down, just recognizing this cultivation of space that we did throughout our practice. Grateful for this body that brought us through the practice. Grateful for the breath that brings us through this life. And grateful for our inner space that clears the path of awareness, letting us live our most vibrant and healthy lives. Thank you for joining me. The light in me honors and salutes the light within you. Namaste.